What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com. Today we're looking at the 6 Notre Dame early enrollees from the 2021 class on the defensive side of the ball. On Monday we broke down the 8 offensive early enrollees. Make sure to check that video out as well. Before we dive into today's video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more Notre Dame video content. Of course, go to blueandgold.com for everything Notre Dame football. It is that time of the year, folks, to order the 2021 Notre Dame football preview. If you are a member at blueandgold.com and Blue and Gold Illustrated, you can purchase the Blue and Gold Illustrated football preview for just $7.95 with pre-shipping. If you're not a member, you can purchase it as well for a discounted rate. Link in the description of this video. We're going in alphabetical order here, and first up is 6'5", 220-pound linebacker, defensive end, viper, just kind of this versatile player who can do multiple things, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to be a pass rusher for Notre Dame. On this clip, Alpew is not on the line, though. He's actually out in space as a linebacker, and you see number 44 right there tackling Jordan Johnson, who has since transferred from Notre Dame, of course. But there's Alpew. You can see the length and the size. This was a high ceiling type get for Notre Dame on the recruiting trail. Alpew was committed to UCLA before flipping to Notre Dame late in the recruiting process. Alpew is a consensus 3-star recruit and was selected to play in the Polynesian Bowl in Hawaii, but that game was canceled. Feel like some folks forget about how big of a recruiting win Ryan Barnes was for the Fighting Irish in the 2021 cycle. He held 33 offers in total, including Clemson, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, Oregon, USC, powerhouse schools. He picked Notre Dame over those programs. Barnes did not have a senior season in 2020 and of course enrolled at Notre Dame this spring. So his first time in pads in a while, and this was his highlight of the spring. This acrobatic pass breakup, Ron Paulus' pass intended for Jay Brunel. Barnes did a really nice job there. Working with this third team group, you see Ryan Barnes, number 15, combines with Aiden Kayana for a tackle, and then don't blink because you'll miss it. There's Ryan Barnes. You see him rush in that lengthy cornerback and brings down Chris Tyree. Of course, not bringing him to the actual ground because they weren't tackling in this drill. At this point, I'd be surprised if he makes a dent into the 2 deep and sees a lot of time this fall, but the upside is there for Ryan Barnes. Almost 6'2" on 182 pounds. Whether he's a corner or safety, Ryan Barnes is going to be a good DB at the next level. Speaking of big recruiting wins for Notre Dame in the secondary, how about Philip Riley? He committed to Notre Dame May of 2020, decommitted from the Irish a couple months later, and then recommitted to Notre Dame on November 16th, 2020. He's 5'11 and a half, so not the tallest cornerback, not like a Ryan Barnes, but 198 pounds. A big, strong young man. And by all indications, Philip Riley had a strong spring. You see him, number 25 here, nearly picks off this Tyler Buckner pass. You see he is upset with himself. He wanted to make that highlight play. Riley was a consensus 4-star recruit. Rivals ranked him as the number 24 cornerback in the country and the number 44 player in the state of Florida. He's actually from the state of Washington, moved down to Florida in December of 2018. The early enrollee defensive back combination of Ryan Barnes and Philip Riley has to have Notre Dame fans excited. Gabe Rubio committed to Notre Dame June 15th, 2019, a year and a half before he would eventually enroll at Notre Dame. So I feel like a lot of Irish fans forget about Rubio, but this is one darn good prospect. Consensus 4-star player. Rivals had him ranked the highest as the number 109 player in the country, number 10 defensive tackle. He was dinged with injuries in 2020 in that shortened season in Missouri, but in 2019 he totaled 117 tackles and 18 sacks. He also was battling some injuries in spring, but when he was out there, big number 97 made an impact. He was kind of just at the right place at the right time there, getting that fumble recovery, but you just see how big Gabriel Rubio is. Keep an eye on him on this play as well. Gets a pass deflection, kind of hard to see. but getting his big glove up there for the pass breakup, and it's also hard to see him here as well, but you'll have to just trust me that Rubio brings him down, and when the body's clear, you can see 97 getting up is he's the one who made the tackle there. Notre Dame defensive line coach Mike Elston has done such a good job of stocking his defensive line group with young talent. He always seems to be able to go 3-4 deep at these positions with guys like Jacob Lacey and Riley Mills, Kurt Hines, Howard Cross, Aiden Kana-Ina. Plenty of bodies on the interior defensive line for Notre Dame, but Gabe Rubio might be too good to keep off the field. Seemingly out of nowhere last August, Notre Dame flipped Will Schweitzer, a 6'4", 215-pound Viper defensive end from his Nebraska commitment. He had never even done so much as announce an offer from Notre Dame on social media. It was kept under wraps, but Mike Elston, Brian Polian, and company were able to flip Schweitzer from the Cornhuskers. This is a player who's probably going to not make an impact until later in his Notre Dame career. I think maybe a couple years of development. See number 48 here making a tackle in that third team group in a scrimmage earlier this spring. So again, think he's going to be a guy who comes along slowly, but when he does play, he can make a good impact at Notre Dame. I just would keep expectations lower for 2021, that being this fall, and then maybe even next year as well. So this video is titled The Surprise of Notre Dame Spring Football, and guys, I think it's Justin Walters. He's the safety from Bolingbrook, Illinois, 6 5'8", 178 pounds. He's not going to blow you away with his measurables, but what he does look really good on is these clips that we saw from practice. Here's an interception here on Tyler Buckner. The thing about Walters that we heard a lot when he was a high school recruit was that, here's number 20 again breaking up a pass, was that he's more of a box safety. He's not going to be excellent in pass coverage, but he can come up and make a lot of plays in the run game. Well, in these clips we saw from spring ball, he looked really good in pass coverage. The starting safety group last year was Kyle Hamilton, DJ Brown, and Houston Griffith. But if there's injuries or Justin Walters is too good not to put on the field, I could see him in there, and then I could see him making an impact on special teams as well. I think Justin Walters and what we saw in these clips provided by Notre Dame was the surprise of spring football. He didn't have a senior season because Illinois didn't have football in the fall, and then in the spring, of course, he was enrolled at Notre Dame. So this is a guy who hasn't played a lot of football recently, but he still looked really good, especially as a coverage safety. Make sure you let us know your thoughts about this video and these defensive early enrollees for the Irish in that 2021 recruiting class. Make sure you purchase the Notre Dame football preview, whether or not you're already a blueandgold.com or Blue and Gold Illustrated member. You can get a really good deal on that. 160 pages, full color, glossy magazine covering Fighting Irish football, in-depth analysis of each position group, special feature articles on the players, previews of Notre Dame opponents, recruiting information from yours truly. Make sure to pick up your copy. Pre-order link is in the description of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and have a great rest of your day.